Welcome to Fearopoly Street as we discuss book number 10, Ski Weekend, which was released in January 1991. And how old were you in January 1991?
I was still 2 months shy of 8.
Okay. I am 11 and a half years old.
Okay. So you're older.
I am. Much older.
I know. Not much older. Like 3.5 years.
Still, well, back then, that's a big difference, 11 and a half to compared to 8.
But at our age now, which is,
now.
You know.
Which is do the math.
Absolutely. Now it's nothing. Snowbound, Red Porter was a stranger they met on their ski weekend. But Ariel or Ariel?
I was saying Ariel.
That's what I did too, like Little Mermaid.
Uh-huh.
But Ariel Monroe, Doug Marr, I don't think his name was in the book.
No.
Okay. And his girlfriend, Shannon Harper, were grateful he was there when they set out for home on the icy roads. Thank heaven for Red. He spotted the hilltop lodge when they were stranded by the blizzard. He took charge when they stumbled into strange surroundings, scared, tired, looking for refuge. But can he save them when their refuge becomes a trap? Suddenly, their hosts are acting very sinisterly. Doug's car is gone, the phones are dead, and the house is full of guns. If they steal one, maybe they can escape until a shot is fired and the real terror begins.
It's interesting because at no point do we learn the last name of Red, Doug, or Shannon. We only know Ariel's last name because they use it for her mom and dad.
And yet the back of the book gives us Doug and Shannon, but neglects to give us Red.
Red Porter.
Oh, I missed. Oh, I did miss that. It's right there.
Yeah.
You're right. Red in quotes, so we never learn his actual first name.
No.
He has red hair, and we see him on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
He does not look sinister on this cover.
No, he doesn't.
But also, this cover has a glaring mistake. Do you know what it is?
No, what?
Who's the man in the ski mask in the book?
Oh, yes. Yes, you are right. Yeah.
So the person is pictured twice on the cover?
Uh-huh.
That doesn't make any sense.
That's a good catch. I like that.
Well, I think that this, if you're just looking at the cover, would throw you off the set even further.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. But
all right. So chapter 1, as we talked about, is from first person point of view of Ariel.
I do want to mention right off the bat, we've lost our chapter titles that we only had for one book. They're gone.
Do you think they're gone forever?
I don't know, but it felt like he tried something and decided it didn't work.
Like it. Yeah. So we have Doug Marr, Ariel Monroe, Shannon Harper, and Red Porter are in Doug's old Plymouth driving in a snowstorm. Doug and Shannon are dating. Ariel is dating Randy, who isn't in the car, and we find out why a little bit later. So the friend group spent the weekend at Pine View Lodge to ski, but Randy wanted to leave early so he could play in a basketball game. Ariel and Randy got into an argument about it, and Randy stormed off. And that's when Red came over and introduced himself to Ariel. Randy left via bus, and the four stayed to ski. And after they were done, Red got a ride from Doug back to Brockton, which is 6 hours away from apparently Vermont, is where they are skiing.
Okay.
As Doug is driving on the icy roads, the car starts to spin out, and Ariel and Shannon scream.
Did they mention Vermont in here?
They do.
Okay. That's a long drive back to Ohio.
It is. I looked it up. It's like 12 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to do it in one day, and they only want it for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't make much sense.
Here we go.
A few things I want to note right away is, first of all, they said Shadyside was more than 200 miles away when they stopped, which is probably 100 miles into the thing.
Yeah.
Vermont's more than 300 miles. That's a lot more than 12 hours.
Yeah.
Also, this is the first Fear Street book where we're not in Shadyside area.
No.
So it's quite a distance.
Yeah.
Which is funny. Also, at this point, was the very first book Corey was the protagonist?
Mm-hmm.
Have we had another male protagonist since?
I don't believe so.
I don't either.
No, it's always been from the female.
He really likes writing from the female perspective.
Yeah.
Don't love that.
Yeah. Well, you know how I feel about Oro.
If he was authentic in the female voice,
mm-hmm.
that would be okay. But there are a few things that we'll mention as we go through that he does not have the female voice solid, and yet he keeps writing in it. And I don't understand.
Keeps trying.
I don't understand why he doesn't try to write more male.
I mean, these books, for the most part, I think, were read by teenage girls or preteen girls. And so in order for them to relate to the character, it should be told through the female point of view.
That's fair. That's
And
fair.
of course, any teenage boys that are reading this, they, girls,
So do you think they put out the first book, the sales were more female than they anticipated, and he shifted gears? Or maybe he was intending to go back and forth, because I think he was writing them quick enough they didn't wait for the stats from the first book.
Yeah.
But he did a male-female, and then by that time he saw that it was female readers and stayed there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Or he just had fun writing in the female perspective and didn't realize how off he was.
Yeah, that's true.
Could be. So we get to chapter 2. The car stops before it goes off a cliff, and Red suggests they take the country road, instead of the state roads, because, county roads, not country.
Mm-hmm.
Because county roads are always plowed before state roads are. Is that?
And that is not true at all.
I mean, I will say, so Westerville, where I live in
Mhm.
Ohio, has its own utilities and own city services,
Mhm.
and we get plowed immediately and completely. And
Yeah.
having lived in the Columbus area, which is huge and sprawling,
Yeah.
you will wait days or a week or never to
Uh-huh.
get your street plowed.
Yeah, I'm
So-
in Worthington, and we also have our own utilities section. And it's like before it snows, they are out with the salt trucks,
Mhm.
and then first snowflake that falls, they are out there scraping.
Yes. So it does, like, I would assume, because county is a smaller government, based on what
Mhm.
we're finding, the smaller suburbs do a better job. The county probably does a more complete job.
Mm-hmm.
The major state routes probably get plowed quick. But if you're going from Vermont to Ohio, I'm not sure there's a direct route. I didn't look it up.
No, I didn't.
So maybe if there's not a direct route, it would be a true
Mm-hmm.
thing. Doug takes Red's suggestion and goes down a county road where he almost hits a red truck, but he swerves and misses, and then Doug's car dies. First death of the book.
I know, that's true.
And not an animal, so that's good.
So in chapter 3, we have Red says that the car has overheated, and he knows that because he's a car guy.
Mm-hmm.
He sees a house or a ski lodge in the distance. So the four of them decide to walk to the lodge or house and see if they can stay there for the night. When Ariel gets to the front porch, she has a feeling of dread.
So this was the first chapter I had heckles up about Red. I mean, I kind of did, because he was already an outsider.
Sure.
It was very convenient that her boyfriend left. In fact, the boyfriend is hardly ever mentioned after the beginning, so it almost seemed unnecessary, except I will give RL credit that somebody who was mad at their boyfriend who just left might be more susceptible to a cute guy that comes along
That's true.
than somebody not. So I guess that backstory makes sense. I just feel like they spend too much time on it,
Mhm.
considering it never actually pays off in any real way.
Yeah.
But the thing where he sees the house and Ariel makes sure from her voice she does not see the house raises a little heckles.
Yeah.
But at this point in the book, and for quite a while after this, I'm like, Red's the obvious suspect.
Right.
So it can't be him.
Right.
Because these books tend to have an obvious that's not.
I started to suspect Red when he said go down the county roads,
Right.
because he was taking control of the situation. And I have, whenever I watch horror movies, I always look for the person who either keeps you in the danger or leads you to the danger. And that's always
It's a
the...
trope.
Mhm. Yeah.
So in chapter 4, they stumble upon the home of Lou and Eva Hitchcock. Do you think Hitchcock has some significance here?
Well, he's already beat Stephen King to death.
Right. So I assume that Hitchcock was like foreshadowing or another red herring clue. I also occurred to me that Lou was so awful immediately. RL, I kind of thought Lou was a stand-in for RL, but not an intentional one, obviously, because RL would not see himself. But I did wonder if it's a little bit of his fantasy to enjoy terrorizing teens.
I think it is.
Because clearly. But anyway, their house used to be a ski resort before the highway was built, so they had plenty of room for the gang to stay. Also, Lou's a creep. He says, "You're a cute one. I like redheads." And that's the first of many comments he makes to Shannon.
Yeah, Shannon,
which
the
is
teenager. Yeah.
Definition of creepy guy that I have no desire to be around and would never be friends with. Even when I was identifying as male. Always hated that type of guy. Lou starts to talk about hunting and shows the boys his loaded rifle. More red flags. Bang, bang, bang. I have plenty of friends that own guns and believe firmly in gun safely owning guns and everything, and I have no problem with them. But for me, guns make me uncomfortable. I don't want them around.
Yeah.
So when I see a huge difference between somebody that has a gun for protection,
Yes.
or even 2 or 3, but not like, or a rifle or 2 for hunting, and somebody that has a big gun cabinet full of guns that they keep loaded at all times.
At all times.
So that immediately awful. He tells them the story of Harv, a hunter who was accidentally shot and killed. And then he proceeds to laugh because it's so hilarious how his friend died.
Mm-hmm.
God, I hated Lou immediately. Immediately. And I will tell you that opinion never once changed. I could smell the visceral beer breath as I read.
Oh, yeah.
And was just so turned off and disgusted. Yeah. I will say, R.L. I think he did a better descriptive job in this book than in the last few or the series so far. We got to give him credit where credit's due. Maybe he's getting slightly better.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't want to spoil it, but I do feel like there was a little bit of an improvement here. In story structure.
Yeah, I felt that too.
Okay. So good. I'm glad we agree.
Mm-hmm.
Ariel goes to the kitchen and Eva makes her some tea, but Eva doesn't really know her way around the kitchen, which is another red flag. I was already suspecting by this point that it might not be Eva and Lou's house, but
okay.
Were you not?
Well, not until this point.
The tea?
Yeah, the tea. I was like, oh, she's really harping on this.
Was the too short jacket before the tea? Because I feel like it was.
I feel like it wasn't.
Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we'll see as we go through the notes. When Eva leaves, Ariel and Doug hear a gunshot in the next room. Not a gunshot, one of RL's famous red herrings.
The gunshot was actually a mousetrap going off.
What? Second death of the book.
Second death. First a car,
this time an animal. Well, and the car's not actually dead because it's resurrected later, which is RL's embracement of the supernatural.
That is true. Yeah. So it is a little Fear Street. So after the mousetrap goes off, then another gunshot sounds outside, but it's a tree that has fallen through the porch roof.
So 2 false gunshots, which means the third one has to be a gunshot.
So Lou, Doug, and Red go outside to remove the tree, and Ariel notices that Lou's coat is much too small for him.
There you go.
Lou later mentions that he hasn't skied in a while, but his coat has ski tickets on it. And after everyone goes to bed, Ariel hears the front door closing and footsteps coming up the stairs.
I will admit at this point, at first I thought Red was too obvious a suspect, so I kind of dismissed him. But then Lou was so awful, and the short coat and everything. I'm like, what if it's just Eva's coat? What? I mean, that definitely occurred to me, that more red hair.
Yeah.
I will say, I think RL did a decent job here of he got us so used to these patterns of false suspects that if his false suspects ended up being real suspects, you're almost like...
You second guess yourself.
Yes.
Kind of like how they do in the Scream movies.
Yes.
Each one, you're like, oh, it's so obvious that it's this person. But wait, are they making it this obvious?
So this was RL's long game all along. He wrote a bunch of crappy books to lure us into a false sense of thinking we knew what was going on.
Oh, he's always been 2 steps ahead.
He plays 4-dimensional chess just like our president. I think he plays it just like our president. Just like him.
Oh, does he cheat?
No, I just meant he wants everybody to believe he's playing 4-dimensional chess, but he can't really at all. He's actually quite dumb. Chapter 6, it's Red. He heard Lou and Eva fighting and thinks Lou hit Eva. I do want to mention there's a line very quickly, like when they're talking about the fighting, where Ariel says, well, married people argue all the time. Major insight to her parents.
Right.
And I could tell you from personal experience that they fight all the time, they should probably get divorced. I don't know their marriage. There are some people that genuinely enjoy the fight. And it's healthy and it works for them.
Yeah.
But in general, I would say if you argue all the time, especially with kids, you should probably cut it out.
Yeah. I think my wife and I, in the, 18 years we have been together, we have had like 2 major arguments.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And there's a reason why you are happily married and I am not. Anyway, continuing on in chapter 6, Red and Ariel start kissing, but she ends it quickly. Were you rooting for them at any point to be a couple?
No, I was not, because I assumed that this Red character was definitely over 21. Yeah.
I didn't make that assumption.
Yeah.
I figured he was 18. I figured he was slightly older, but I did not go all the way to 21.
What is with all these parents who are letting their teenagers just go to a ski lodge for the weekend unsupervised? Like
12 hours away.
Yeah, 12 hours away, or apparently Red lives 6 hours away. But still, like, when I was 17, I wanted to go to Cedar Point, which was an hour and a half drive from my house. And my mom was like, over my dead body. Are you and your friends driving to Cedar Point?
I think by the time I was 17, I had the run of Columbus, like the 270 circle.
Okay.
But at 16, I definitely wasn't allowed to even drive up to like Worthington, Westerville from West Jeff, which was only half an hour.
Yeah, that's not, yeah.
The first time I went out of town with friends was probably I think it's like went to Kings Island with like work people for like a work thing when I was like 17, 18.
Yeah.
But like there were older people going, so it was kind of like a supervised activity sponsored by the company I worked for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I certainly wasn't going out of town until I was in college and out of the house. So, but to be fair, Shannon's parents would have not approved of her doing this. She snuck away.
That is true.
She snuck away. In the morning, Lou makes everyone breakfast. See, he's a decent guy.
Oh, sure.
I did start to think like, oh, he's just rough. I know guys like him. I don't like guys like him, but he's probably fine and harmless. While Eva sleeps in. Did you think Eva was dead at this point? Because I did. I suspected.
I did.
Yeah, absolutely. Doug, Ariel, and Red go to check on the car because another storm's coming. But when they make it down to where the car is, the car is gone. And at that point, I'm back on the Red train because he had disappeared.
He came out. Yeah.
Yeah.
In chapter 7, it seems that the car slid down the embankment and landed on its side in the gully, or Lou pushed it last night. That's Ariel's
Lou was too drunk.
They head back to the house where Lou is holding another dead mouse in a trap.
Third death.
They tell Lou what happened, and he suggests calling a tow truck, but the phone line is dead. Fourth death.
Fourth death. I do find it really interesting that he took half the chapter to jump into the mouse's perspective and how it was so distraught over the death of its mate that it purposely killed itself in the trap. It was some real pathos that I actually felt really deeply.
No, it was just Lou trying to be funny and say that he was going to feed everyone the mouse.
Yeah. See, the other reason I was back on the Red train because Red was suspiciously gone when the car was gone.
Yeah.
But then Lou made him breakfast. And how evil can you be if you're making him breakfast?
That's true.
Bacon and eggs.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly we found that, but still. Chapter 8, Lou mentions he has a Jeep. Should have mentioned that last night.
Really?
But he was drunk. And the gang talks him into driving them into town. Lou says he has a few chores to do first. He'll be out in a minute. So the gang enjoys a snowball fight. And then they make their way to the barn where the Jeep is. They see the Jeep has Alabama plates instead of Vermont plates. Now I'm back in Lou's evil because he's from Alabama. And think that's odd. They also see an old snowmobile in the corner. I wrote down immediately Chekhov's snowmobile. This is definitely going to be part of the story later.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because if you introduce something in the first act, you have to have it in the third act.
I agree. I was not, although Randy, the boyfriend,
apparently
it wasn't.
To hell with him.
And the car is barely in the third act.
Yeah.
And I did not see the guns as Chekhov's guns because, yes, I assumed a gun would be shot at some point, but it was also the guns are so present in so much of the book, and there's so many false shots. I was just like, whatever.
RL did forget this rule because, and this is jumping ahead a little bit, but in the last chapter, it's the first time we ever hear about a nearby lake. At no other point do we hear about this lake.
I totally forgot that it was mentioned in the first chapter. But that's great because it becomes such a set piece later. Yeah. If this was filmed, we'd have a nice scenic shot of the lake just to make it look beautiful. And then later, of course, we get to spend time on it. I like that. I can see that in my head. And like we said, more descriptive. Lou gets to the barn and Ariel notices the jacket he's wearing does fit.
So is it a different jacket?
Yeah,
or,
clearly.
Okay.
Clear. I mean, he didn't lose weight or get shorter arms. Or he's twins that one's slightly smaller than the other.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting. Everyone piles in. Shannon on her
Doug's
boyfriend's lap because, can't be on Lou's lap. But the Jeep won't start. And Lou seems like he doesn't know how to start it. He leaves the barn in a huff as another winter storm comes in. Again, now I'm suspecting Lou again. I'm going back and forth between Red and Lou through this because the don't start seemed way too convenient.
I took it as, I was like, they are trying so hard to convince us that red is like the opposite of a red herring. So much to where they named him Red.
I did not even get that. Did not even get that. Oh, man. See, you're smart. I knew you were smart, but...
In Chapter 9, Red stays in the barn to try to fix the Jeep while the others go inside to have lunch. Lou jokes that the phone is working, but it really isn't.
He's so funny.
Such a jokester.
So funny.
Doug suggests taking the snowmobile to town, but Lou says it hasn't worked in years. As they head to the kitchen for lunch, Ariel goes upstairs to check on Eva, and Ariel screams when she finds Eva sprawled on her bed, presumably dead.
That is when I knew Eva wasn't dead.
Yeah.
When the chapter ends with her finding her dead body, I knew she wasn't dead. Chapter 10, she's not dead. She just sleeps with her eyes open sometimes, as you do.
My cat does that, and it's really freaky.
You know, I knew somebody or something that I can't remember, but yes, it is creepy. She also has a red welt and a bruise on her face, so the hitting must have been true.
Mm-hmm.
Eva warns Ariel that she shouldn't be here, and Ariel isn't sure what that means. I was sure what that means. Absolutely. Ariel leaves and goes back downstairs to make a sandwich for her man, but then realizes her man's not there, so she eats it herself.
Yeah.
When she returns to the living room, she looks outside and sees a man wearing a blue ski mask is looking in the window right at her. What were your thoughts on who that was initially?
At first, this whole time, I also thought in the back of my mind, is it Randy? Did Randy, like, when he left early, he saw that there was a snowstorm, decided to backtrack to make sure that everybody was okay, saw Ariel with Red and was like, oh, no, you didn't. And so then he, like, started stalking them. I was, like, half convinced.
Only if he bought the ski mask brand new, because Ariel would know what his ski mask looked like.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, and like his jacket and stuff. Yeah.
It did not occur to me that it was could be Randy until we're reading the synopsis, and then that fired in my brain immediately right before you said it. Mm-hmm. But I wrote down at the time, it's got to be Eva or Red, because those are the two that aren't in the scene. It's Lou and the other four.
Yeah.
And I thought it could very well be Eva if she's... that maybe we've got all the signs pointing to Lou or Red.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, so it's Eva.
Yeah.
And it's shorter than Lou and all that.
So in Chapter 11, whoever it was looking through the window has seemed to disappear, and Lou isn't the least bit concerned about it.
He isn't, but he also keeps saying, it's not real, you saw something, nobody's there. And never once do they say, come look at the footprints, which they had just mentioned they saw.
Right.
And also the footprints stop and disappear abruptly. They never explain that.
Yeah.
So can Red fly, or is he a ghost?
They do talk about the snowdrifts a lot,
right?
Which can easily cover up footprints.
Sure, but like immediately? Like they ran to the window and they saw footprints and they stopped abruptly.
Yeah.
That didn't make sense.
So out of boredom, drunk Lou challenges Doug to a wrestling match, and it quickly turns serious.
He keeps calling Doug the Hulkster in the scene.
The Hulkster,
Was that Hulk Hogan's nickname?
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought it might be, but I don't know anything about wrestling. But my mind did go to the fact that the Hulk in the TV show, the Hulk from this era, was played by Lou Ferrigno.
Oh, okay.
So I thought the Hulkster could be a reference to Lou.
It was total Hulk Hogan.
He could have did it for both, but you're right. I thought it was probably Hulk Hogan.
So Lou ends up spraining Doug's knee, which heals very quickly. Mm-hmm. Red takes Lou into the kitchen to get him to sober up and tells Ariel to meet him in her room in 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. He wants to work out a plan to leave ASAP.
Got to throw him off the scent.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 12. In Ariel's room, Red tells everyone that he heard Lou tell Eva that he's planning to rob them tonight. I didn't buy that one for a second.
Rob them of what?
Right?
Their dignity?
And why didn't he just rob them the night before?
Right. Like they have nothing with them.
Right. It did make no sense. Mm-hmm. And that was another red flag. Ariel also tells them that she found a picture of a man and the woman in the bottom of her dresser and thinks it's odd Lou would hide the picture, which goes back to piling on the clues from earlier that it's not their house. Mm-hmm. Red tells everyone that he actually fixed the Jeep and they can escape tonight after Lou passes out from his millionth beer. Mm-hmm. midnight, the gang tries to sneak out of the house. As they make their way to the living room, Ariel hears a floorboard creak and thinks it's Lou.
Well, in chapter 13, we find out that it wasn't Lou.
What?
It was just a squeaky floorboard.
What?
Doug grabs one of Lou's revolvers from the gun case just in case, and the gang heads outside.
What's fascinating about chapter 14 is we switch back to a mouse perspective, a different one this time. And he's very much, the star of Death Wish, where now that his beloved family members have been killed, he goes to the gun cabinet and gets a gun and starts going after these teenagers and killing them one by one.
Yes.
Chapter 14, for real. The gang heads to the bar and finally pries open the frozen barn doors. Inside, they see a man standing there, and they think it's Lou holding a gun.
But in chapter 15, Ariel hears a gunshot go off and sees that Doug has shot Lou. Lou falls to the ground, and when Red checks on Lou, he realizes it wasn't Lou, it's another man, and that man is dead.
I immediately thought it was a scarecrow or something and not a real man until they examined.
I thought it was Lou.
Did you?
Uh-huh.
I mean, these two were supposed to be such different body types that she immediately recognized the guy in the snow wasn't Lou.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I thought, and I thought this later, that so much of their plan depends on Doug actually shooting the gun.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for Red to, because Red even says, when we get to the Jeep, you're going to give me the gun. And I'm like, oh, he's going to get them in the Jeep and then pull the gun on them and rob them.
Yeah.
Once he's got them away from the house and has them. And at this point, I'm still thinking Lou's completely innocent. He's trying to get them away from Lou so he can rob them.
Mm-hmm.
Or not rob them, probably. Do something more sinister.
Yeah.
But I don't trust Red that the man's dead when he falls. So I'm like, so this man's definitely not dead. He's waiting to wake up because it's barely using blood. I also was just like, I thought for sure we'd find out Red also had a pistol this whole time and was the one that pulled the trigger, and Doug never pulled the trigger. But they just made him think that, because he even says, like, repeatedly, I don't think I did. I didn't think I did.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense for them to just count on him pulling, like, actually firing.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe that was like Red's backup plan.
I guess, but it's never confirmed. So, no. Anyway. Chapter 16, Ariel realizes it's the man from the photograph, which surprised me because I was thinking ski mask.
Look at this photograph.
But wonders who he is. Lou comes to the barn because he heard the gunshot and sees Jake, Eva's brother, is dead on the ground.
I was surprised that they identified the person so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were the ones who said, oh yeah, this is Jake, Eva's brother, when they could have just been like, oh, we have no idea who this guy is.
Yeah, I could see it going either way because, like, I think part of the thing is, first of all, these criminals are not very smart.
No.
We get that. But if it was just some stranger, the kids might try to convince them to, like, cover it up or how much it was an accident. By making it a family member, which it truly was, they could really claim offense and, like, scare the kids into obeying. And what, because they're like, they might hurt me if we don't obey because this is their family member.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, yeah, I didn't think that was strange. But
in chapter 17, Red and Lou move Jake's body to the cellar, and Lou tells everyone he is calling the police in the morning. They go through Jake's coat and find a blue ski mask and realize he's the man who peered in the window. That night, Ariel realizes that Jake barely bled when he was shot, so she goes into the basement to inspect the body.
Never go alone.
Yeah.
What?
I forgot to mention earlier in my notes that Ariel wants to be a doctor.
Right.
And so she decides to do everything very scientifically.
Right.
Yeah, that's how she, like, approaches life, very scientifically.
That is a key to understanding her character and her approach.
Right.
I didn't mind that. But
well, when she goes to inspect the body, she's like, be scientific, Ariel.
Right. That I minded. That I did mind. But she's a teenager. You cut her a little slack. Chapter 18, Ariel sees the bullet went through Jake's ribcage and there's barely any blood. So she thinks Jake's body is too stiff for only being dead for 6 hours. Rigor mortis sets in 2 to 6 hours after death, as you Googled, and is in full rigor mortis at hour 12 in less than 36 hours. So it could very well be that it had set in. So her science is faulty, but also she's a teenager. So
right. Yeah.
Ariel then hears footsteps in the basement, and it's the mouse coming with the gun to get revenge.
In chapter 19, it's actually Red. He came down to check on her. And back upstairs, Ariel tells the gang that Jake was already dead when Doug shot him. And Ariel thinks Lou shot Jake and is going to frame Doug. Later, the gang decides to take the Jeep to drive to the police station. As they walk across the yard, Red points a gun at Ariel and tells her that he and Lou worked too hard setting this up to let them get away.
Yeah, he really spills the beans really quick. I don't feel like he needed to at that point.
I would rather have had Ariel use her science brain to like figure this out instead of, and again, it's just very much like Scream, where the killer has to finally tell the people he's after, like, it's me. Hey,
God, you guys are dumb.
Remember all those clues I dropped?
I wore that shirt that said I'm a murderer. Yeah, I don't understand. It was, at this point, the alarm bells on Red were dinging so loud.
Yeah.
So loud. I was still giving Lou a pass here.
Okay.
I had suspected him earlier, and then I was like, nope, he made him breakfast, and even after that, I'm like, no, he's just a terrible human being. He's not a murderer.
He's not a murderer. He's just an awful
I wasn't
person,
suspecting multiple of them in on it.
Yeah.
So, chapter 20. Turns out Red is also Eva's brother. That did not see coming and also felt unnecessary.
I didn't see that. But, I mean, you had to give Red motive as to why he's helping out Lou.
That's true. I wish we'd had some moment earlier in the book between Eva and Red that made them seem somewhat familiar in some way.
Yeah.
Or something they noticed they look, hey, you kind of look just a little bit alike or something.
Yeah, you guys have the same red hair or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, your nose. Very similar. They killed Jake because he screwed everyone out of their inheritance. Never find out like what the inheritance was, what the circumstances were, none of that. Just like, he owes his money.
The ski lodge, maybe?
I guess. I don't know. As Lou and Red come up with a plan, Eva's guilty conscience wins, and she phones the police because the woman is always the weak spot in the conspiracy. The police are going to be there in 20 minutes. Oh, and the phone has worked this whole time. Did it though? Because they were pulling it up. Like Ariel even picked it up and it wasn't working at one point.
No, I think Lou tells them.
He does, but so when they call their parents early in the book, there's a very static, so they can barely hear.
Yeah.
But there is a point when they're trying to sneak out and they go across the hall to get their coats in the middle of the night, and Ariel picks up the phone and the phone's dead.
Oh, well, also Lou was smashing the phones too. He was ripping
Well, he
them
pulled
out
the one
of
off the wall, but then she picked up the other one and it was dead.
And it was dead.
So I think they probably unplugged from an exterior line or something.
Or like, yeah.
But it was actually dead.
Okay.
So it wasn't, Or it could have actually been coincidence. The phones just died. Who knows? Ariel sees the pre-made snowballs from their snowball fight earlier, and since they're hard as rock shells, she picks up two, hits Lou in the head with it, which I loved and cheered for. It did occur to me at this point, though, when we find out just what a creep Red is, that so many girls in these books fall for creepy guys.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because RL thinks that all girls are that gullible and susceptible, or all teenage girls, because there's a difference.
Yeah.
Or it just feels like he has too low an opinion of women.
Yeah.
And, I know this isn't news to you. I know, but it's really frustrating how quickly these otherwise smart and capable girls that are the protagonists keep falling for creepy guys.
Yeah. Well, it's the whole bad boy syndrome of I can fix him.
But we didn't even know he was creepy. He was supposed to be just a nice guy.
Who, Red?
Red.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until we find out later he's a total creep.
Well, in chapter 21, the second snowball hits Lou in the head and he drops the gun. Then Doug, Lou, and Red all wrestle for the gun, and Doug throws it across the yard.
Why?
I know. Use it. You've already shot one person.
Or throw it at Shannon and Ariel, which is what I was expecting, and one of them gets it. Because I can understand he's too close to tackle him. So throw it to your friends.
I think Ariel and Shannon showed a lot of uncomfortness.
Agreed.
When the guns were first around. So before I was trained in firearms, if you threw a gun my way, I would not have picked it up because I would have been convinced that I would mess it up somehow. Or
I agree, and I probably would feel the same way.
Yeah.
But in that desperate situation, if Doug feels he can't keep it and use it himself because he'd be tackled before he could, throwing it to your friends who you just have to count on in faith.
That's true, and just play a game of keep away.
Or just actually count on them to hold the gun on them. Because I don't know. I guess I have faith in people that they rise to the occasion.
Back in chapter 21, Doug, Shannon, and Ariel run for the Jeep, and when they get there, Doug realizes Red has the keys.
I mean, I saw that coming before they got there, but at the same time, they're in a panic, so I give them... And they're kids. They're kids. I have to keep telling myself.
No,
These
yeah,
are
they are
kids.
16
You got to
years
cut
old.
them a little more slack than I would cut adults. So chapter 22, Ariel remembers the Chekhov snowmobile, and it starts right up. Her plan is for Lou and Red to chase her while Shannon and Doug run for the street. That's not what I expected. I expect them all three to get on the snowmobile together. Because just having them chase, if I'm Lou and Red at that point, I'm like, okay, we're letting her go.
Oh, yeah.
But they immediately grabbed her friends, put them in a chokehold or something, and yelled to her, you
Like,
stop or we're going to snap their necks.
I know, we have your friends.
Yeah. That just makes... But again, these are really dumb villains.
Yeah.
So. Lou and Red are blocking the barn door, and Ariel dives right for them, which is another cinematic scene I see in my head that I think would be fun to watch. And also very cliche, but that's okay.
So in chapter 23, there's a cat and mouse chase.
Told you the mice just keep coming back.
Keep coming back. In this cat and mouse chase with Ariel on the snowmobile, while Red and Lou chase her, Shannon and Doug head for the road. When they see Ariel crash the snowmobile, they head back to help her, but Lou gets to her first.
Because somehow these two men, one of them drunk, definitely not in shape, Lou, can run as fast as a snowmobile. Is it because she doesn't know how to drive it and she's driving it way too slow?
Quite possibly. Do you have to like put it in gear or like shift the zero transmission on a snowmobile?
I've never driven one, but I feel like if it's anything like the four-wheelers or something I drove as a kid, you turn the handlebar and however far you turn it, the faster it goes. So maybe she didn't realize that and just... Because otherwise, how are they running as fast as a snowmobile?
I mean, my motorcycle is manual, and if you don't click it into the right gear, you're not going fast.
Does occur to me, should we have noticed that Red, Lou, and Eva all have three-letter names, and that was our clue they all work together?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just thought of that. So chapter 24, Lou and Red argue about their plan. Red, who never used a fake name, as another sign of how not smart he is in this, or didn't do anything to disguise his true identity. He wanted to kill Jake and leave, but Lou wanted to pin it on someone so the police wouldn't suspect them. With the police close by, Red takes Ariel hostage. So we do never find out why Jake, I guess he took inheritance from the siblings, but we never get, I don't feel like that's enough motive. I need to know, is there bad blood between them? They said Eva, barely likes her brother. Yeah. Why? Tell us more about that.
I mean, take him to court and contest the will. There's so many other ways than murder. Why is murder always the first go-to?
Because they're dumb.
Yeah.
They're so dumb.
In chapter 25, Ariel runs from Red as he chases her, and she reaches a frozen lake.
Where she turns into a mermaid and swims underwater.
The ice cracks under Red's weight, and as Ariel watches, Red falls through the ice and drowns. As Ariel is about to make her escape, she hears the ice crack under her feet as well.
Ice crack under her feet. The police show up in chapter 26 to arrest Lou and Eva. Doug tells Ariel to run before the ice breaks. She runs toward Doug and lunges at him just as the ice breaks. The police tow Doug's car out of the ravine, but they each have to give testimony to the police before they can drive home. After they call their parents at the police station, they do drive home, and Ariel jokes, a total dad joke or something, which feels out of character for her, that they should go skiing next weekend.
There we go.
So no mention of Randy anywhere near the end of this book.
Nope.
So total waste of whatever. The car felt like such a loose end of, we haven't mentioned the car again. We'll just one line to mention. We got the car out of the ditch and we drove it home.
Yeah, and it magically is working now.
And the thing with Ariel, joking with Doug and Doug catching on everything, I started thinking at the end of the book that if there was a sequel to this, Ariel and Doug are going to be together. I started to get the end of the book, their old friendship, the way.
Yeah.
I don't know. This was the first book. I did not see any obvious lesbianism in it.
No.
It definitely felt like she belonged with Doug, though, instead of Randy or Red. And Doug is a little bit of a creep, but not that much of a creep.
No,
he's
a typical
an excusable teenage boy.
Yeah.
Where he could grow out of his bad qualities.
Yeah.
Unlike Red and Lou.
Well, they'll be in jail. Well, one's in jail, one's at the bottom of the lake.
Or is he? That was the epilogue where Red's hand comes up from the ice. To be continued.
So, my initial thoughts were, what did this have to do with Fear Street, aside from Ariel living on Fear Street? That's the only time it was mentioned.
It is the biggest departure from any of the books so far, I think.
It is. What the heck was the point of Randy? And like, yes, Ariel should break up with him, but then I put, at least Randy isn't on the gymnastics team.
I do think the point of Randy was to set up the vulnerability of Ariel so that Red could approach her more easily.
Okay.
I just think there should have been even some minor tie-in later.
Yeah. But did Randy like, couldn't it just have been like Randy couldn't go at all? Or he didn't go at all because of the basketball game?
Yeah.
Instead of what, he left 2 hours early? Like, he still has a 12-hour drive ahead of him.
He had a word count. RL had a word count.
Yes, he did.
Because otherwise it would just be 3-line paragraph saying, I'm mad because my boyfriend went to the basketball.
Yes, you are right. I knew that Red was the bad guy, but I didn't know why. Like, I didn't know anything about the plan.
Okay.
You know, like, he was just trying to set them up. I was taken aback by so you were from Ohio,
Sure.
right? We know how cold snow is.
Yes.
We know how cold snow in the face is.
Yes.
You do not do that to a friend and not get sucker punched.
You had more violent friends than I did. Now, I agree. It's a very unpleasant experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I think snowballs that I took to the face were from a sibling, or they tended to be accidental.
Accidents, yes, but they were like purposely throwing, like smashing it into each other's faces. And I was like, no.
Well, yeah, that last chapter, Doug smashes the snowball into Ariel's face in the car.
Yeah.
Which bothered me because now you've got water all over your
I
car.
know. I'm like, who's like, oh, I'm just going to pick up this random snowball and maybe I'll use it later. So it was released in January 1991. So a snowstorm and like winter felt very fitting for when it was released and when we would have read it. The Stepsister, which was the book prior, that was in early December.
With no mention of Christmas season at all. Yeah.
There's no mention of Christmas here.
Right.
So I think maybe he was, RL was getting ready to write like Silent Night, because that's, I think, the first Super Chiller book, maybe.
Oh, when did that come out?
I feel like it should have been a standalone book, because it has nothing to do with Fear Street. So if it were a standalone book like The Babysitter or one of RL's other ones, I would have given it a 4 out of 5. But because it's not a standalone and it has nothing to do with Fear Street, but it's in the Fear Street series, I give it a 3 out of 5. But I liked it because it deals with domestic abuse, family squabbles over inheritance, and the realistic snow moments. I thought the writing was much better. The descriptions were much better. So yeah, I give it a 3 out of 5.
I would probably rate it a 3.5 or 3 out of 5 as well.
Okay.
I would not give it a different score from Fear Street versus non-Fear Street, because you're right, it barely touches on Fear Street. It could very easily have been a standalone, but it felt tonally and in terms of the characters and everything, it felt like a Fear Street book to me. Even without the setting, the characters and their interactions and the development, it was slightly more better than other books, but just the interactions and things felt very similar.
Yeah. Okay. I get that. All right. Well, thank you for listening, and join us next month as we read Fear Street book number 11, The Fire Game.
Ooh.